Okay. You're most welcome to the NGICT Support Center, and in today's video I'll be taking you through how you can solve problems or challenges of Microsoft Excel, specifically questions about logical statements, questions about the if statement, questions about the rank, questions about the VLOOKUP, questions about the HLOOKUP. Okay, we are going to have it. We have a question here. We have a question here that we are going to use from the NGICT Support Center. Now the question is here. It is telling us, it is giving us a table where there are students' names, Mathematics paper 1, Mathematics paper 2, and then the question down here is saying open a spreadsheet program and use it to enter the information in the table above. So what we're going to do exactly is to come up with the creation of a spreadsheet program. Now what we're going to do is to start by creating a folder and then give it our name, that is in Subuga. Then double click on open, and inside the folder right click and choose Microsoft Excel, which is a spreadsheet program, and then you can call this students max. So double click to open, and then you're going to have this, and then you're going to enter the data, exactly the data that is inside this table. You're going to have this data entered there. So what you're going to do is to come back here, and then you do get this work, and then take it to your file. This, what you're going to do is to come and then press OK. Have this table like this. So what we are going to do is to double click here, and then have the work the way it is the other side. Now we are going to make minimal changes to make this table look the way it appears here. When you look at this table, these names are in blue color and these items are wrapped according to the text controls. Now you come back to your work and then highlight these subheadings, change the font color to blue. The color is blue. They are bolded, and then even their size is high. And secondly, these words are wrapped, or there is a feature called wrap text that they used. So come and click in the alignment launcher, and then come and select this text control called wrap text, and then click OK. Then you'll be able to see that this word paper 1 and paper 2 comes below the mathematics automatically. That is exactly the way it appears here. I think you're able to see it now. Secondly, we are going to have our table. Now we are going to continue with our question down here. Calculate the average total marks for each student. So what we're going to do is to come here and then type here average total marks. Average total. Average total marks. Then you can resize this column with it. Come here and then say equals. Come and choose the FX. Choose average and then click OK. Come and choose B2 to C2 here, and then click OK. You will be able to get the average total marks here. Simply double click on the autofill handle to have the rest calculated automatically. Then come back to the question. This question is telling us to use the if all the HLOOKUP to give comments to students as follows: from 0 to 39, F9, 40 to 44, past 8, 45 to 49, past 7, 50 to 54, grade 6, 55 to 59, grade 5, 60 to 65, grade 4, 66 to 74, grade 3, 75 to 84, distinction 2, and then those from 85 and above, distinction 1. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with coming up with the scale of grading, the scale of giving comments. That is in case you are going to use the if statement. So what we're going to do, we are going to draw our scale here. Come and put our scale here, lower scale, lower and higher. So we have from 0 to 39, from 0 to 39. Then we have from 40 to 44. Then we have from 45 to 49. Then we shall have from 50 to 54. Then we shall have from 55 to 59. Then we shall have from 60 to 65. Then we shall have from 66 to 74. Then we shall have from 75 to 80, that is 84, and then we shall have from 85 to 100. Now the following things are so crucial, most especially if you are to use the if statement. If in case you are going to use the if, you need to have the scale. This is the grading scale. Now in the grading scale, if you to use the if, we always have two: the lower grading scale and the higher grading scale. Why? If in case you are to use because when we are to use the if statement, we have two signs that we always use, and that is the less than sign, which is the less than sign, and then the greater than sign. Now these two signs, we can use them in the if statement. But if in case you are to use the less than sign, then use the opposite scale. Use the opposite scale, and that is in bracket the higher scale, but from the lower values. And then if in case you are to use this is scale, if in case you are to use the greater than sign, still you are going to follow this. You're going to use the opposite scale. You're going to use the opposite scale, which is, in case it is greater, then it means the lower scale. But starting from the higher values. the opposite of this is true for this one. So if in case you are to use the less than scale, use the opposite scale. You're using the less than sign, use the opposite scale, but starting from the lower values. And then when you're using the greater than sign, you use the opposite scale, but starting from the higher values. That is the greater than sign. We are going to see how they work. Okay, let's get back here. We get back to our spreadsheet program. That in case we are to use, you're going to put here comment. We are going to see how every sign works. So here, come resize, put here equals to the if. Go click here. If we are using average marks which are in B2, and then put a comma here, and then you state if D2 is, let us start by using the less than scale. If using the less than sign, if D2 is less, all equal to, if in case you're using the less than sign, you're using the opposite scale. So the less than sign, we are going to use the higher scale. The less than sign using a higher scale, but starting from lower values. So we are going to say if D2 is less or equal to 39, because 39 is in the higher scale, but it is the least value, because we are using the higher scale but with the lower values. So if D2 is less or equal to 39, comma, then these students are supposed to be given F9 in quotations. F9, as the question suggests here. F9. Come back the question and then put a comma. We have one comma after the logical statement, and then another comma comes after stating the value after the logical test. This is a logical test. D2 is less or equal to 39, and then F9 is the value when this condition is true. So if the if is going to check whether this value here is less or equal to 39, and if in case it is found equal to 39, it will award this mark. This is the value when this logical test is true. Then we still have more and more here down here in our scale. So we are going to open another if statement. Again, we shall say if still this is D2 is less or equal to 44 here is less or equal to 44, then you put a comma. It means this will be a pass 8. Pass 8. Close quotations, put a comma, say if, again, open brackets, D2, which is this value, is less or equal to, now we are on 49, comma, then inside quotation marks we shall put a pass 7. Inside quotation marks we shall put a pass 7, then put a comma, open another if statement. If into brackets D2 is less or equal to, we finished 49, we are going to 54, comma, then we shall have into quotations credit 6 into quotations, and then put a comma and then open another if statement and say if into brackets D2 is less or equal to we finish 59, 54, we are going to 59, comma, into quotations. You will know that this is a credit 5. Close quotations, put a comma and open another if statement, into brackets say if in case still D2 is less or equal to we finish 59, we are going to 65, comma, into quotation marks we should be having C4. Close quotation marks and put a comma and then say if into brackets D2 is less or equal to we finished 65, then we are going to 74 is less or equal to 74, put a comma, then this means this will be a C3 into quotation marks, comma, if into brackets D2 is less or equal to 84, comma, then into quotation marks we shall have a distinction 2. Inside quotation marks. Then we have only one condition left. This one we are not going to open another if statement. Reason being, it is the only value which is remaining. If in case the if statement takes the first condition, the first logical test, it is not below 39, it's not below 40, it is not below 54, it is not below 59, it is not less or equal to 84. It means it is above 85 because it is not less or equal to 54. Then that value is going to be the value when all these logical tests are checked and then it is not falling inside any of the logical tests. So that one would not open another if statement. Rather, we just use it as the value if all these logical tests are false. So we put just a comma and then you bring only its value, and that is a distinction 1. So the distinction 1 this time around is going to work as our value when all these logical tests are false. This is the value when only this logical test is true. This is the value when this logical test is true. And then D1 is going to be the value when all these other logical tests are false. So then lastly, you have to close by the number of if statements you opened with. So I say I opened with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 if brackets. Therefore, I must close with 8 if brackets. And then this color changes, so you should be keen. So we're going to start closing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then press enter. You will be able to see your comment here, and then if you to see 52 is falling under this range, and therefore it must be given a comment. Let us put here, it's supposed to be F9, then here is pass 8, pass 7, then credit 6, then credit 5, credit 4, credit 3, D2, and then D1. So let us try to check and see whether our value is correct. So if you look at 52 is falling under this range, it is a credit 6, so our values are correct. Autofill to get other values. Let us try using the greater than sign now. Let us put comment 2 here. Let's put comment 2. and then we are going to say equals to if into brackets. We are still grading the same mark here, average total mark. If D2 is greater or equal to, now this time round when we are using the greater than sign, we are using the opposite scale, which is the lower scale, but starting from the higher values because we are using the greater than sign. So we're going to say if it is greater or equal to 85, not 0, we don't start from down here, we start from the higher value but in the lower scale, so it is 85. So we're going to say if D2 is greater or equal to 85, comma, into quotation marks, you will put a distinction 1, because if in case it is greater than 85 to 100, it is a distinction 1. So you come and then put, and that is the first logical statement. Put a comma after the logical state, after the value if this logical test is true, and then open another if statement. So if into brackets still D2 is greater or equal to 75, put a comma and put the value if it is true, then this means it is a distinction 2 into quotation marks. Put a comma and then open another if statement and say into brackets D2, which is the average total marks, is greater or equal to 66, is greater or equal to 66, comma, into quotation marks, it should be a credit 3. Put quotation marks, put a comma, and then open another if statement and say if into brackets D2 is greater or equal to, we finished 66, we are going to 60 here. If it is greater or equal to 60, comma, then inside quotation marks it should be a credit 4. Credit 4 inside quotation marks. Put a comma and then say if again into brackets D2 is greater or equal to 55. Put a comma inside quotation marks, say it shall be a credit 5. Quotation marks. Put a comma and then say if again into brackets D2 is greater or equal to, right now we are on 50. If it is greater or equal to 50, put a comma and then inside the quotation marks you should say it is a credit 6. Inside quotation marks, put a comma and then open another if statement. If into brackets D2 is greater or equal to 45, comma, inside quotation marks you should put a +7. Inside quotation marks put a comma and say if into brackets D2 is greater or equal to 40, is greater or equal to 40, comma, into quotation marks you should put +8. Close quotation marks. Now that we are remaining with only one argument, we are remaining with only one logical test, this one we are not going to create it another if statement. This one is the one that is going to work as our value when when all these other conditions are false. If in case the computer has checked and the value is not above 85, it is not above 75, it is not above 66, it is not above 40, it means it is below 40. That means it is either 39 or below. So that one we shall just put a comma here, and inside the quotation marks we shall put its value, which is F9, which is F9, and close quotation marks. You remember when we were using the less than sign, we used D1 as our value when all the conditions are false. This time round, because we are using the greater than sign, we are using F9 as our value when all the conditions are false. Please understand that we are still going to close by the same number of brackets we used to open: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we should close with 8 brackets. Be mindful, the color changes. The last bracket here to open is the first bracket here to close. So if this is blue, the first bracket here is going to be blue. If this is also less blue, the second bracket is going to be blue, and the last bracket will be the last. The first bracket to open is going to be the last bracket to close. So you come and open, you will be able to see that this color is closed, that color is also closed, that other color is also closed, that one has also closed, that green has also closed, that purple has also closed, that red has also closed, and lastly the black must close. When you see that these colors are closing similarly, then you should know that you are on the right track. Press enter and then you will see that this same answer is the same here. I hope we are together. That is, if in case we are using the if statement. We said if in case you are using the greater than sign, you are supposed to use the lower scale but starting from the higher values. And then if in case you are to use the less than scale, the less than sign, you are supposed to use, if in case you're supposed to use the less than sign, you're going to use the higher scale but coming from the lower values. I hope the if statement is okay. However, we're instructed to use, if not the if statement, we were instructed to use the HLOOKUP. Let's read the question again and say, use the if statement or the HLOOKUP. At least we've used the if statement. I've showed you the two sides of the if statement where you can use the greater or the less than sign. Now let us try and see how we can integrate the use of HLOOKUP and then see how we can use the HLOOKUP to come up with our values. So here I'm going to come and then come. Now for you to use the HLOOKUP, you must have what you call a table array. You must have what you call a table array. Now a table array is a table of result. It is more or less the same to our grading scale, but this time round when you're using it as a horizontal lookup, you must organize this in what we call a horizontal way. This is vertical way, this is vertical. But if in case you are to use it the horizontal lookup, then organize those values in a horizontal way. So what we're going to do is to come and draw our table array. You can put it anywhere where you want. I can say to put it from down here. So I'm going to say from here, I have a 0, then from 0, I'll go to 40, and then to 45, then 50, and then 55, then 60, then 75, and lastly 85. Now the only difference here is that whenever you are using the horizontal lookup, do not mind about the higher scale. Only consider the lower scale. Please and please, I repeat, if in case you are to use the horizontal, lookup, please only consider the use of the lower scale. And this is our lower scale, the 0, 40, 45. Don't mind about this higher scale. So you come and write from 0 is going to be F9, then pass 8, then pass 7, credit 6, credit 5, then credit 4, credit 3, it is supposed to be from 0 to 40, F9 pass 8, 45 is pass 7, then 50 is credit 6, 55 is credit 5, 60 is credit 4, there is 66, I jumped here, 66 is credit 3, then there is 75, which is a distinction 2, and then 85, which is a distinction 1. So please only consider this lower scale if in case you are to use the horizontal lookup. We are going to see how it works. Now this one will work as our table array. This one will work as our table array. Can merge and center. Let us label this table array for HLOOKUP. This is our table array for the HLOOKUP. I can decide to make it have a red color for easy identification. Ctrl S to save changes always. Now we are going to see how we can use the HLOOKUP to come up with comment 3. Comment 3. Here you can just increase the width, have it like this. So here we are going to say it is equal to HLOOKUP equals to HLOOKUP open brackets, and then we must state the lookup value. Now in this case, our lookup value is still this D2, which is the average total mark that we are going to be looking up for. So you click in D2 and then put a comma. Then after stating the lookup value, you are supposed to read the cell references of your table array. So come down here and then highlight right from the 0 up to the D1 here, and then come back up here. You will see that your table array is being stated here. Then press F4 to add the dollar signs, because this table array must be made absolute. It's not supposed to keep changing. So make it absolute by pressing F4 button. Then after, click the comma and then state the row index number where you intend to find the values, or where do you want the values to come from. Now because I want these values to come from the second row, up here I'm going to say it is 2, because the values that I want to be brought back here are coming from the second row of my table array. That is why I'm using a 2. Then after, I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put the match. Now in this case, the match must be approximate. It must be true, because I'm estimating from 0 to 39 that these people must be having F9, and then from 40 to 44 these people must be having a pass 8. Now that one we call it true match, because it is approximating, it is not exact. So you come and then double click in the true, then after close the brackets and press enter. You will see that all these values still are similar. Then double click here, and then you will see that there is totally no change of values. In this, I am using the HLOOKUP, and in this, I am using the if statement. In this, I'm using the if statement. This, I use the if statement using the greater than sign. This, I use the if statement using the lower than sign. I hope we are still together. Now, at least I've showed you how the two applications can be used to define one thing. Now I'm going to the other question. Let's come back to our question here and then see how we can go about it. Use the VLOOKUP to grade students depending on their comments, where a student with F9 gets F, pass 8 gets 0, gets O, pass 7 gets E, credit 6 gets D, credit 6 gets D, credit 5 gets credit 6, credit 5 and credit 4 gets C, credit 3 and D2 gets a B, and lastly D1 gets A. So okay, use the VLOOKUP. So in this case we are going to use the VLOOKUP. Now come back to your question, come back to your working environment here. Now because they are tasking us to use the VLOOKUP, we are going to also have a table array. We are also going to have a table array. Let us have our table array put here. Merge and center, put our table array here. Table array. Still, when you are using the VLOOKUP, I still say we should always use the less than scale. Let us always use the lower scale. Let us pretend like as if we are not seeing the higher scale. So you're only going to be interested in this lower scale. Come and put a 0 here, put a 40 here, put a 45, put a 50, put a 55, put a 60, put a 66, put a 75, put a 85. Then here we say this is D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6. No. This is grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. This is grade 7 plus 8, and then F9, like this. Now when you look at our question, it is telling us that student with F9 get F. So a student with F9, here we shall give them F. Then we go down and say pass 8, we shall give them O. Then those with pass 7, we shall give them E. Then we shall give a D. We shall give a C to those with grade 5 and grade 4. Then we shall give a B to those with grade 3 and D. And lastly, we shall give A for those with distinction 1. That is what our table array is. So here we are going to come back up here. Now this is our table array for vertical, for VLOOKUP. This is our table array for VLOOKUP. You can also make it have font color red, easy identification. So come back here and put grade, and then we see the grade of our students. So here question was saying use the VLOOKUP to give grade to grade students. So we are going to come and give grade students here. So come, click, and then say equals to VLOOKUP into brackets the lookup value. Now in this case, our lookup value is this comment. We are not looking up for the average marks because they are saying a student with F9 is going to get F. A student with pass 8 is going to get O. In this case, we are going to use this comment. Now, we have 3 comments. You can decide to use any of them. I can decide to use this. Let me use this one, the comment in column G. So I'm going to say G2, which is this comment. Then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to read my table array. Now my table array, it must be this one. Now I'm not going to consider this one. I'm going to be interested in the F9 to the value I'm going to be giving. So come, and then let me highlight everything. Let me highlight everything here, like this. This is my table array. This is my table array. Then you are going to come and then put F4 to make this table to have dollar signs. You are having your table array with dollar signs. So secondly, you're going to put a comma here and then state the column index number. Now this time round, the column index number, where we want our values to come from according to the table I've highlighted, the column index number must be 3. The column index number must be 3 because the values that I want to be brought are in the third column. So here I'm going to say 3, and then I'm going to put a comma, and this time round I am going to say exact because when I am seeing this, there is no approximating. It is either F9 with F plus 8 with 0. That is why I'm going to say false. So I'm going to double click on false as my match, and then I close and press enter. Here it is giving me an error message. So what I should do, let me change this table array. And I use only the values I have here. Okay. Let me repeat it all. Say equals to VLOOKUP into brackets. The lookup value is this. We can either use this or the other. Put a comma and then come and set the table array. Now let us use only these values from here up to down here. Let us leave that one and then press F4 to have dollar signs included on the values of the table array, and then press a comma and then set the column index number. Now that we are having only 2 columns and the values that we want must come from the second column, we are going to use 2. So here you're going to say 2 because the values are in the second column because we've only highlighted 2 columns. Then after, put a comma and then the match is exact, must be exact because here there is no approximation. Here there is no approximation. It is either this or this. It is not approximating. So put false because it is an exact match. Then close and then press enter. You will come to see that those of credit 6 are given a D because this is an exact match. I hope we are still with that. Double click in the autofill handle to have this whole thing. When you check past 8 people are given O, F9 are given F. I think we are still. Press Ctrl S to save changes. Come back to your question, read the question again. If a person with A gets 6 points, if a person with A gets 6 points, B gets 5 points, C gets 4 points, D gets 3 points, E gets 2 points, O gets 1 point, and F gets no point, use the VLOOKUP to give points to students. Wow, these questions are so interesting. So come here and then add information on your table array because we are still using the VLOOKUP. Now we are going to add another scale here. They are saying that if a person has A, we should give 6 points. A person with the B, give 5. B, 5. C, we are going to be giving 4. C, we are going to be giving 4. D, we are giving 3. E, we are giving 2. O, we are giving E, we are giving 1 point. Then O, we are giving E, we are giving 2. O, we are giving 1, and then F is given no point, which is a 0. So this is what the question is telling us. A person with A is going to be given 6, B 5, B 5, C 4, 4, D 3, E 2, O 1, and then F 0. So we are using the V to give points. So you're going to come down up here and then say points, and then you are going to grade these points. So come here and then say equals to VLOOKUP, equals to VLOOKUP. Inside quotation brackets, we are looking up for which value? Now we are looking up for the grade. We are not looking up for the comment rather, but the grade. So if grade, which is H2, comma, if it is looking up for the value in H2, which is the grade, and then you're going to state the table array here. So our table array, this time around, we are starting with the grade here. Not this, but here. So it is starting from F to the points here. And then we are going to have it here as our table array. Press F4 to add the dollar signs to our table array so that it is absolute. It is given absolute cell references. Then press a comma and state it 2 as your column index number, because the values we want must come from the second column here. Then press a comma again and then state the match. The match must be exact in this case, because a person with F is given 0 points, a person with O is given 1 point. It is not approximating. Approximating, I mean from 0 to a certain range. That is approximating. Kutebereza. You're approximating that. If something is exact, then we shall say false as the match. So double click in false here and then close and press enter. You will see that a person with the D is given 3 points. Let us try to autofill and see. Autofill and see. Is a person with A given 6? Yes. A person with the B given 5? Yes, exactly. Ctrl S to save changes. Come back to your question here, and then use the VLOOKUP to return Kakebe Enoch's point in cell B. It is supposed to be cell B17. In cell B17, use the VLOOKUP to return Kakebe's Enoch points in cell B17. Now here there is some logic here. They want here in cell B17 here, cell B17 it is here. They want Kakebe's Enoch's point. So here we shall say Kakebe Enoch, Kakebe Enoch. This is Kakebe Enoch. This is Enoch. Kakebe Enoch's points. Points. That is in cell B17. So we are going to get it here. And then here we are going to say they are tasking us to use the vertical lookup. Okay, it is okay. So we're going to come here and say equals to VLOOKUP into quotation marks, into brackets, into brackets. What is the lookup value this time round? Now, this time round, our lookup value is a text. And if our lookup value is a text, then what we are going to do is we are going to put it into quotation marks. So here you're going to put, for the first time, we are going to have our lookup value inside the quotation marks because it is a text. So come and open quotation marks and then write this name Kakebe Enoch the way it appears here, and then say Kakebe Enoch. Kakebe Enoch into quotation marks. Then put a comma and then highlight this whole thing like this, including the points. Highlight it all and then put a comma and then state the column index number where you want where the points are. So when you see this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the points are in the 9th column, and then come and put 9 here and put comma, and then say it is exact, because the name Kakebe is exact, is not approximate. So come and put false here because the name Kakebe is exact. So put close here and press enter. You will come to realize that Kakebe Enoki's point is 0, and therefore it has returned for us 0 here. How? It is locating for a lookup value called Kakebe Enoch. It is going to find Kakebe Enoch here because it is in quotation across A2, which is this whole thing, to I13, which is this whole table, and then out of this whole table is going to locate Enoch, and then it is going to check for his value in the 9th column, and then his value in the 9th column, when you check it is O here. So it is going to return for us a 0, that is in case it is a false, and then press enter to get his value there. Then come back to the question. We are almost finalizing. Use the points to give position to students and assemble them in descending order. Use the points to give position to students and assemble them in. So here they need to get us to get positions. Position. Increase the width of this column. Now for position's case, we use a formula called rank. Okay. Now we're going to say it is equal to rank into brackets. Which number are you ranking? We are ranking position here. Now position is in column I2, so you're going to say equals to rank into brackets I2, comma, and then you must state the reference where this I2 is coming from. The reference is the range of cells where this I2 is coming from. So this I2 is coming from I2 to I13, which is the whole column here of points. So we are also going to make it absolute by pressing F4. The reference is also supposed to be absolute, so press F4 to make it absolute by adding the dollar signs on the column later and then a dollar sign on the row numbers. Put a comma and then state the order of ranking. Now this time round we are supposed to use the order of ranking as 0, which is descending order, and then double click here and then close quotation mark, close brackets, press enter, and then this one will be given position 6 autofill by double clicking in the autofill handle, and then every person shall be given a position. These with 3 points are given the same position 6, because they have a similar mark. Then we are tasked to sort them in ascending order or descending order. Come and then highlight, and then come and choose this filter panel here where you are seeing A to Z in the home menu. Come and choose this filter panel. Then choose custom sort. Then this checkbox, my data has headers, you should leave it checked so that it considers these column headings as headers. If you deselect, you will not see what to sort by here. Then come here and then choose position here, and then choose to order from the small to the largest, and then press OK. You will be able to see that the person with the highest points is given the first position. The person with the second point is given the second position, as up to the last person is in the last position. Come back to your question. You come to realize that all the questions are done. Please Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for supporting NG ICT Support Center. Feel blessed to continue watching my videos. Please, if you pick interest, subscribe and like, share these videos to your friends so that